Hello, welcome to another video in the C# Basic Fast Tutorial series. Today we're going to be looking at while loops, and we're going to be integrating while loops into the program we made in the previous video. So if you want to see how I made this, then you can go and watch that video. But before, I'm just going to correct the grammar on this because it's pretty bad. There we go, much better. So a while loop is, as the name suggests, a loop, and it'll keep looping through whatever you put in the braces while something else is true. So the first example I'm going to show you is a while true loop. So a while true loop essentially just runs forever because while something is true, well, it's just true, so it always runs. So if we put all our code in the while true loop, then it's going to just keep looping this code forever. So what we're going to do here is, you can see this green line here, and this says unreachable code detected. And this is because if this is always running, then it's never going to get to this. So I'll just, rather than deleting it, I'll just show something else in C#, which is a comment. So if we use 2 lines, then it comments it out and it won't run it. And it's always good practice to comment your code like this. So if you look at it in the future, then you know what it does. But I know what this does, so I'm not going to comment it. So if we run this, then this program will just run forever until we close it. So when this finally runs, I can show you that. So there we go. What's the password? So shed, correct password. You are now logged in. And then what's the password? Shed, and it'll just keep doing that forever because that's all it can do. So now what you can do with the while true loop is you can also get out of the loop. If you want to loop it like infinite times if the user does one thing but not if they do another, then you do something called, you need to break the loop, which as the name suggests, we use a break. So if the user gets the password correct, then we want to break from the loop. So we're going to write break. And that is just going to break out of the loop. So we're going to put console.read back in, and then we're also just going to write a message so we know it works. So we're just going to put loop broken. So now if we run it again, then hopefully if we keep typing the incorrect password, it will just keep doing that. And then once we type the correct password, then it breaks the loop. It tells you correct password, and then it breaks the loop. So now we can see how the while loop is really good to use. So this is a really good example for our password program, because when you get it right, it doesn't. But if you keep getting it wrong, then it will just keep asking you for the password until you get it right. So now we're going to use another type of while loop. So we're going to actually look at something. So while we're going to create a new value, which is going to be an integer, and we're going to call this attempts. And then while we're going to do while attempts, so it's a bit like an if statement, that what's in the brackets it checks. So while attempts equals, remember in the double brackets, while attempts is less than a number, so this basically means is while attempts is less than how many attempts you want. So I'm going to do 3, well, I'm going to do 4 attempts. I'm going to put a 4 here, and that basically means that we'll have 3 goes, because when attempts is equal to 4, it won't run, because it's just less than. There we go. So we just needed to actually define what attempts is starting off. So we're going to get rid of break for now, and then what we're going to do is, if they get the password wrong, then we're going to put attempts equals so what this will do is, if you get it wrong, then it increments attempts by 1. So if we run this now, then if we keep getting the correct password, then it'll just keep looping through. And then if we put an incorrect password, so that's attempt 1, that's attempt 2, this is attempt 3, and then attempt 4, and then it's going to break the loop because it's done it. So we do actually have 4 attempts because we started on 0. So now what we can do, to get the password right, then we are going to break out the loop. So we'll put our break back in, and then we're going to put we're going to use an if again, but this time we're going to do something else. So if attempts is less than 4, and then if we want to compare 2 things, so 2 things are right, then we use an and symbol, which means if something is equal to something and something is equal to something, then do it. So if the user hasn't tried it 4 times and we need to create another variable, so we're going to create a variable called logged in. So this is going to be a boolean, which can either be true or false. So if bool logged in, so this starts off being equal to false, and then if they get the correct password, then logged in equals true. So if attempts equals that and logged in, so we don't need to put and logged in is equal to true, because it basically means the same, because if logged in is equal to true, so it basically means if attempts is less than 4 and that's true, so you don't need to do equals true. Or if you wanted it to be equal to false, then you would have to put equal false. So now whatever we put in here is our what the user's logged into. So we're going to put what should we put? What should we put in here? We'll put what can I help you with? If it was some sort of AI robot we were doing, but I don't think we're going to be doing that anytime soon. So if we run this program, what's the password? So if we get it wrong twice, so let's pretend we're just mistyping it, and then we'll get it right this time. There. Correct password, you are now logged in. So if we look at what's happening and what the code's doing, we can see that we get the correct password. So logged in is then equal to true. And then we break out, and then it checks this if statement. And because attempts is less than 4 and logged in is true, then that will do that. So if we now close that and try it again, then we'll double check that the incorrect password thing still works. And it's important to fully test your programs for bugs. If you're creating proper software, then you actually have proper methods of testing, which are called black box and white box testing. So we'll just get the password wrong 4 times, and then it just says loop broken and it hasn't logged us in. So what we're going to do here is do another else if. So we're just going to copy this to save time. So if attempts equals 4 and logged in equals false, then we'll put attempt number exceeded. Add an unhappy face because we haven't got into the system, and we can now get rid of the loop broken thing. So now we'll run the program and we'll get the password wrong again, we'll get it wrong again, and then we'll type shed. Correct password, you are now logged in. And then if we now try the incorrect password thing again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, incorrect password, you are not logged in, and then it said attempt number exceeded. So we now no longer can try passwords. So I think that's the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and comment if there's anything you want to say or ask me. I'm generally pretty quick with replying to comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.